Hello, everyone, and welcome to Twillow Talk. So we're super excited this week. We have the beautiful Michelle Marie with us this week, who is with Astrological Tarot. She is, well, I'll let her do her intro. Michelle, would you like to tell us what you do, what stuff you do?
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Michelle Marie. I am both a Vedic and Western astrologer, as well as a oracle and tarot card reader. I also have a lot of experience in Vedic remedies because you need remedies when you're dealing with those astrological transits.
Especially the ones right now.
Yeah, we were just talking about those. It's like we were surprised we could even come on because of this, because today the sun is combusting Mercury and Mercury's retrograde, and it's happening in Aries. So it's just a lot of energy. Oh, and then we have an eclipse in a couple of days. So it's just like, oh yeah, party.
Yeah, so maybe we can talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
And Jen, tell us about you. And she froze.
That's the retrograde.
So Jennifer Tchaikovsky, she is our counselor.
Looks adorable.
There she is.
Green freeze though was really cute.
It was cute. Yeah, we were lucky this time.
It's pretty hit or miss these days, I tell you. Oh. Yeah, well, you guys know who I am.
Well, give us what you can while you're here.
Sure.
Okay.
Sorry, on my end it's frozen, so I don't know what's going. Yeah. All the stuff Michelle talked about happening right here.
Yeah.
Everywhere, yeah, for sure.
Just keep going.
So Jen is a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
She is a Reiki master, a Sufi. What's the other word? Al-Kahina? Is that correct?
Yeah.
What else have we got going on? She does a whole bunch of energy healing. She does human design. She does the Enneagram, all those kinds of things. She does lots of stuff. She's been around for many, many lifetimes, as the three of us have. Many of them together, the three of us, actually. And yeah, does that cover it? What else would you like to say? You seem to be here.
That's good.
That's good? Okay. I'm Tanis Coughlin from the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy, and I'm energy healer, oracle, galactic ambassador, Celtic shamanic high priestess. I do stuff. So
She wears a lot of crowns, folks.
I do have a crown.
I know.
I think people have seen my crown already.
It's very pretty.
So what's going on in the transits? Who wants to go first? You want to go first, Michelle? Let us know what's going on. You mentioned a little bit about it. Maybe let's talk a little bit more about that, and we'll update
So I talked
people.
about the combustion today. What that is so this happens in Bharani Nakshatra. Let me go ahead and get the card. So here's the card: rebirth, transformation, ruled by Yama. So this transit is encouraging us to reassess our goals, our values, our desires. Communication is going to be really challenging, as long as well as our electronic. Yeah. Misunderstandings, misinterpretations. So you may find yourself reevaluating past decisions, rethinking your path, considering alternative routes to your personal growth. And it's just important to practice patience, do your spiritual remedies. Don't do anything impulsive during this period. Bharani Nakshatra is really open to change because it's a nakshatra of rebirth. It's she who bears. Okay. So it's all about emerging from this transit with more self-awareness so you can be a more resilient person. So that's kind of what's going on today. And then tomorrow, Venus is going to enter Gemini. And this brings in lively and intellectual energy to your relationships and social interactions. So that's kind of fun. And Gemini is an air sign ruled by Mercury. So that's the planet of communication. You can expect increased curiosity, adaptability, a desire to connect with others. This transit's encouraging you to explore various interests and engage in really stimulating conversations like the one with you ladies today. And just creating a dynamic environment for your romantic and your platonic relationships. So after tomorrow, you're probably up until May 30th, you're going to be drawn to people who are intellectually stimulating, who share your love for learning. Um, However, there is a tendency with that Gemini energy to be indecisive. So make it essential to kind of weigh those pros and cons before making any commitments, and don't do anything huge because Mercury is in retrograde and rules Gemini. Okay. So you can embrace this energy by nurturing your relationships, seeking out new connections, and just enjoying the intellectual pursuits that it offers. And then we have an eclipse. That's on Friday, folks. So this is a full moon
Yay.
prenumbral eclipse. It's at 20 degrees and 47 in Libra. That is the Vedic calculation, which is the exact math in the sky right now. And so that happens in Vishaka Nakshatra. Let me get the card for that. And it creates a really powerful shift in our relationships, and it brings a sense of balance because of that Libra energy. Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus is the planet of love, of harmony, of aesthetics. And this eclipse really highlights the importance of balance in our personal and our professional lives. So this nakshatra, Vishaka's ambitious transformative energy, is encouraging us to reassess our goals and pushing us to overcome obstacles so we can strive for success. Not a bad thing, but we are going to face challenges in our relationships. And again, this is going to vary for each person because it depends on what house this is occurring on in your individual chart. So for me, it's my 6th house of karma yoga. So that's an area in pets. So and we're taking Rosie to the vet today. So I'm kind of on top of that. So any unresolved issues that come to the surface, it's essential to just remain open, be communicative, practice empathy. And this eclipse really offers a time for introspection, prompting you to kind of examine your values and realign yourself with your true desires, and also embracing the kind of transformative energy that this brings, of seeking harmony, growth, balance in all aspects of your life. And you can do that by doing your spiritual remedies during the eclipse, because the main thing about eclipse energy is the moon and the sun are being terrorized by the nodes. Okay. So they're just like, ah, if you do spiritual remedies during an eclipse, it's like doing 1,000 of them. And also at the height of the eclipse, don't eat or drink anything because it can kind of cause things to get unsettled. Okay. But that's the main energy of the week. And then we got more next week, and I'll talk about that on our show too. So
Yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Michelle and I do a show on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, correct?
you got it.
So we do that, and it's readings and stuff. So Michelle also goes over the transits for the week in there as well. So come and join us. It's fun. Okay, Jen, do you want to talk about the human design transits? I'm assuming they're similar, but
Sure.
different angle.
Yeah, it's really interesting because the themes seem similar. It's just the way that they're talked about is quite different in that, right? And so from the 28th to the 3rd, we're in what is called the gate 24. Right. And the gate 24 is the returning. So again, it's this kind of rationalizing. And what's interesting is, we look at this about, embracing silence and what that means. Right. And so in the gene key side of things, the shadow part to this is addiction, and not addiction necessarily to substances or things like that, but it's about thinking or not wanting to allow space for that silence, right? Trying to avoid that place of opening because we can be afraid of what's going to show up there.
Yeah.
Right. And with each of the gates, there's different things that are connected to it. And for this one, it's really about that fear of ignorance, right? And so we're looking at how do we allow space for silence and not that constant thinking, trying to figure it all out and trying to push the next steps, but really making space for.
I'm really sorry. I have an emergency that I have to look at. So I'm going to leave you two to talk. I will be right back. Okay.
Okay.
So sorry.
Yeah. So the gift side of this is innovation, right? And being able to really kind of embrace the space in between. right? And so we look at, I do this with clients sometimes where it's like, tell me 5 things you see, right? And everybody names all of the specific things that they see, but nobody talks about the space in between,
Mm.
right? And nobody kind of opens the door for that kind of mystical knowing that comes from being able to find the pause, from being able to find that in between space, right? But when we open the door for that, we move into the city of silence, right? Being able to really open to the higher mind and make space for that knowing to come in instead of trying to have the mind constantly spinning, right? That idea of going from, the hamster on the wheel, just running and running and running, to really opening into what it is to have that spiral and that growth and that change, right? And that evolution.
Oh, that's beautiful, Jen. And that really ties in with the eclipses because what they do is they're transformative and they're telling us to like, because what they do is they come for the sun or the moon, both. And
Yeah.
so the sun is our ego, the moon is our inner emotional state. They shake things up a little bit and make us rethink things.
Yeah.
And they're ruled by the nodes, which represent our past and our future karma, which would be Rahu with our obsessions, why we're here, any karma that we're going to take into our next lifetime, and then our past karma. So we're having to deal with all of those elements during the eclipse too,
Yeah.
which is why meditation, finding that stillness is the way through it.
So important. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting because there's so many interesting parallels between the astrology and the human design, right? Human design's not astrology, and so by all means, I'm like, Michelle, you know your stuff. I don't in that
Mhm.
terms, but it's
Vice versa.
interesting. Yeah, but it's fascinating to be able to kind of compare what they look like because, when we talk about the nodes, right? It's interesting because one of the things that they talk about in the human design is, if somebody who has in their north node what you have in your sun is going to bring out things within you about what maybe you're avoiding going to, or what your kind of next steps are, or
Mm.
what might show up for you because they're able to kind of demonstrate what that looks like in where they're at, right? So,
Mm.
and vice versa, right? To
Mm.
see, we I mean, obviously, we're always reflections for each other in so many ways.
Mhm.
And finding people who are those kind of clear reflections can be absolutely incredible and a little intimidating.
Yeah, they can. They
Mhm.
can be for sure. Yeah, so I did have a question about so is the design that what you do, is that like they have different numbers? And I took the test and I'm between a 4 and a 5. Am I getting this right? Like I went online and I looked up the design. There was like a
For
test that I took. It was like an enneagram or a
Enneagram is different. I love
Oh, it's different than what you're doing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
I'm just
love
trying to
the
grasp it. I
Enneagram
don't know very much
too.
about it. So, okay.
Yeah, so you could be a 4-wing 5 or a 5-wing 4. I don't know
Mhm.
what what it said you were.
Yeah, it was a 4 or I scored equally for 4 and 5.
Oh,
I'm like, "Oh,
wow.
okay." So, yeah.
Yeah, so feeling into that and what that means for you. So the Enneagram
Yeah,
is different.
okay.
It's based on 9, archetypes,
Yes.
and each the thing I love about the Enneagram, like, we have, like, Myers-Briggs, and we have, like, all of these
Yeah,
other kind of
yeah.
personality testing, but the beauty with the Enneagram is that it's more fluid, I find,
Mhm,
right? So where the other one is like, "Okay, you're in this box, and this is just kind of what you are,"
mhm,
the Enneagram takes into consideration the fact that in stress, we move into a different state, right? And when we're in growth, we move into another one,
yep.
and understands kind of that dynamic that we're always kind of in shift, right? And what's beautiful with the Enneagram when it comes to like doing work with releasing kind of worldviews and things like that is it really looks at how we see ourselves and how we see the world, and the impact that that has on all the conditioning that we experience.
Yeah, like, my Myers-Briggs changed when I got older. because I changed. So when I was younger, I was much more extroverted. I was much more social. I was kind of the life of the party, and now I just want to be a homebody. So now I'm very much introverted. Like I'm
Yeah.
just a different person. We go through those experiences, that conditioning that you were talking about as a child, and then into adult and the workplace and education and all of that. And
Mhm.
we change. So yeah. And I think the Enneagram,
Yeah.
I'm in between two because maybe I haven't fully transitioned into the next one or something. Because again, we're always changing. That's why we're here. We're here to evolve. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see, and if you ever wanna look into the Enneagram, we can definitely do that if any of you want to.
Yeah.
Let us know, we can do a whole thing on the
There you go.
Enneagram. Um,
So
right?
how is that different from what you do? I know I'm interviewing you, but I'm just because I didn't know the difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no worries. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull this up just
Okay.
as a, like, kind of example, right? So human design,
Uh-huh.
again, we've got the I Ching, which is all around here.
Oh,
So
I
we've got
love
the
the I
64
Ching.
gates
Okay.
of
It's
the
I
I Ching,
Ching. I call it I Ching. I
right?
was saying it wrong. Okay.
I Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I say it wrong. We all have our own drum we beat too.
Well, I've studied the I Ching because
Um,
it's part of an astrology book that I have. So I know a little bit about it. So
okay, perfect. Yeah, so what they do is they break it down. So you can see too, like the zodiac is in here, right? So all of it in
yeah.
there. But then it also has the body graph, which is also um, kind of significant to the tree of life of the Kabbalah. So you've got like all of these different
Mm,
teachings in there. And then with the 64 trigrams in the I Ching, we're also looking at, DNA and all of that. So basically the idea
very
here is
cool.
like the stars encoding on who we are in this lifetime,
Yeah.
right? So that's the human design side of things.
So it's very similar to astrology in that context. That's
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah.
it's really cool. I love it. It's the way that we talk about it is like it's like our blueprint, right? We always say we wish we were born with a little owner's manual. Well, this is
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of it. Right? It really shows us how we communicate, how we connect, where our energy comes from, what pressures we feel to do, to think, all of that, how we navigate our emotions, our intuitive knowing. Like
This
it's
is what Vedic
all,
astrology does. This is
yeah.
awesome.
That's what I'm saying is I think it'd be really cool to do a kind of comparative of that at some point
Yeah.
and see, because I think that they really would complement each other quite well.
Yeah.
Um, and so with the human design, with the body graph part, it shows us a lot of where our conditioning lies as well,
Mm.
right? And areas where the not self can come into play. Those things that we think we are, but aren't really who we are, but that who we pick up
Mhm.
from everybody around us.
Yeah.
With the Enneagram, it really is about our conditioned self,
Hmm.
right? Because we can transcend that.
Yes.
And that can, that'll change over time.
Mhm.
And very similarly with human design, that's where Richard Rudd comes in with the gene keys, because his whole teachings around the shadow, the gift, and the city are about how do we transcend, right? How do we move through each of these gates in a
Mhm.
way that brings us to what we're meant to be?
Well, in tarot, it would be like the fool to the world. It's
Mhm.
your journey to source. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
beautiful.
cool.
So on the astrology front,
Mhm.
right? Why don't you tell us a bit about like you do both Western and Vedic astrology,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So tell me more.
Okay. Okay. So I'll start with Vedic because not a lot of people are familiar with it. So what I tell people is if you ever ask the question, why am I here? And I tell them it's because you're in school. We're all here in school, Earth school. So we're all students and we're going to keep returning here until we graduate. And then we can go on to the next stage of our soul's development. So while we're here, we're learning knowledge. We're going through, some difficult lessons. And we're continuing. And basically, what astrology does is it measures our spiritual progress thus far. And it's kind of like a report card. It details our strengths, our weaknesses. It can predict when certain types of lessons are coming our way. That's usually things that force us to change in our direction, our viewpoint. It also can reveal your numerous inherited physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual tendencies. And these tendencies condition your present environment. Sound familiar? So through effort and remedies, we can offset these tendencies. And there are a ton of specific remedies, everything from mantra practice to certain asanas to breathing techniques like pranayama to gemstone therapy, aromatherapy. I mean, the list goes on. And so through that effort, you can reveal, well, what astrology does is it kind of reveals your degree of wealth and health and your rank, your position, and also, any misfortunes or illnesses that are coming your way. And it predicts any success or adversity coming your way. And this is all based on our karma. Like people can blame Mercury, they can blame the planets for our issues, but it's all basically us trying to get closer to source or the divine or whatever form of God that you worship. And it's his way of kind of nudging us closer. And sometimes that's through wonderful, beautiful successes. And other times it's really painful. So Vedic astrology is the oldest form of astrology. And it was developed by the rishis, also known as sages of ancient India. And they were scientists. They were scribes of what are called the Vedas and their sacred texts. And so they developed this as a spiritual science. And it was their way of ensuring a constant renewal of spiritual tradition and culture within the communities. And then another word for Vedic astrology is Jyotish. And that it means the science of light, because there is a light within all of us. It's the light of the divine. It represents the divinity within you. And Vedic astrology allows you to expand your cosmic awareness and reveal your really unique spiritual gifts and weaknesses that you've accumulated over many lifetimes, all that conditioning you were talking about, Jen. And if you choose to implement some of this ancient wisdom into your life, you can advance the development of your soul and lead to a very productive and fulfilling life now into the future. I tell people, like, I'm going through Sadhisati right now, which is Saturn going over my moon. It's very difficult. I knew a karmic lesson was coming. You know what it is. Oh my gosh, what a bomb. And the way I have to look at it is I just paid off an enormous debt. That's just how you have to look at it. So, and I'm just going to be, and whatever I do moving forward and in this life is going to color my next life. So I better act right and I better do the right thing. That's kind of what I tell people is don't look up and see how far you have to go. Don't look up at the gods and the sages and the rishis and go, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get up there. Look down and see how far you've come. You know how you can see how far you've come? Your last life is a mirror of your parents.
Oh,
the sun and the moon. And that's why eclipses who go after the sun and the moon are so revelatory. Our most immediate past life is a reflection of our parents. And you know my story. So I've come light years. I look at that and go, wow, I've come a long way. I don't have all of these attachments. I'm not making, decisions that are hurting other people. I'm not thinking as much about me and more about others. I'm practicing empathy. I have empathy. It's like, wow. So look at that. And if you have wonderful parents, well, congratulations. You were fabulous in a past life. But most of us have issues. So if you look at it from that perspective, then you can practice forgiveness and start to kind of move through the lessons that those things are teaching you. So
amazing.
yeah. And the difference between Vedic and Western is Vedic uses the sidereal zodiac that corresponds to the what's observable and measurable in the sky. So if you took out a telescope and you said, what's the sun in right now? It would be the sidereal calculation. It's based on the actual astronomical position of planets in the backdrop of the fixed star constellations. And the center of where it's measured is the center of the galaxy. It's not based on our sun. It's based on the galaxy itself, so that the stars are in alignment with the planets in concordance with that. So planets are known as grahas, in Sanskrit, and that literally translates to that which grabs or holds. So they're kind of like, if you look at um, the grahas or the planets, they're kind of like our puppeteers, so to speak.
Yeah.
In Vedic astrology, we see ourselves as like fingers in a glove. And
Mhm.
it's like if you blow air into a glove, that's God. And we're just like the little finger going, okay. And then we drop the body, and then it's just we're back with source, because we came
Right.
from the breath, right? That's kind of how I see it. So that which grabs or holds. So it's kind of like they're creating the play of God. And we're just all
Okay.
in it together, and all the planets are just having this grand old time with
Mhm.
us and putting on their play, and we're trying to learn from it and get closer to source. But in order to do that, we have to move beyond what they call the wheel of samskaras, the wheels of birth and death, which is also the
Mhm.
astrological wheel. And once we get through that dharmic wheel, then we can move on to the next phase of our soul's development. So that's kind of what that goes into. And then you talked a little bit about human design, and there's something called koshas, and we have 5 different koshas in our makeup. And the first one, which because we're in a time called Kali Yuga, which is the time of it's a dark time, it's a material time. So it's whatever we do spiritually during this time is like a million times in Sat Yuga, which is like the golden age where the gods are just walking around going, "Hi, happy meditation." Here, let me give you a little spark. We
Yeah.
don't have that going on. We're like we can barely get along with each other down here. It's you if you remember the Lord's name at death, whatever form of God that you worship, that is enough to transcend. That's how bad it is right now. So, but in Sat, you've got to basically just be in constant meditation of God all the time.
Mhm.
So there's that. Um, yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and I you're gonna be teaching a class with Twillow.
Yes, yes. It's everything from oh gosh. So the first thing I'm going to hit is just a basic introduction so people know what Vedic astrology is. I'm going to show people how to calculate their Vedic chart, provide them with some free as well as paid software that they can use. Then we're going to learn about all the planets and the nodes and what they are. We're going to go through the nakshatras. Those are the constellations. There's 28 of them.
Mhm.
Then we're going to go into the houses and what those mean. We're going to go into relationships and how they relate to the nakshatras. I'm going to show you a little bit about how to predict events. We're going to go into the Vargas, which are the divisional charts, just briefly, so that you can kind of see what those look like, because that's going to be a whole other class. And then I've got the koshas. I just talked about those. We're going to do health
Mhm.
and remedies, and because that's the most important thing. But yeah, and I'm going to read people's charts as we go. So every class, if you show up, I can, if you're okay with it, I'm going to read your chart for you and talk about how it relates to the lesson. So it's kind of like getting a reading and learning Vedic astrology at the same time.
That is
So
freaking awesome.
it should it should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, so if you guys are interested in that, all the information is on Twillow, and you can reach out to Michelle or to Tanis to get more information
yeah,
on, that class. So when are you starting it?
May 13th, and it's going to go all the way until July 29th. So yeah, and it's every Saturday. It's gonna be an hour, about an hour and a half, give or
Mhm,
take, depending on how many students we have, because there's gonna be, questions and things like that, and
mhm.
it should be a lot of fun. I'm excited for it. So,
Very cool.
yeah.
Very cool. It's interesting, you were talking about, like, the planets and the puppeting and all of that, and
Mhm,
I was thinking about in human design, they have the neutrino field, right? And so
mhm.
all of these energies that are coming at us all of the time and how they come through the planets, and then they bring those planets' energies to us, and so we're constantly being programmed with all of these energies, and that's when we look at the transits and stuff, it's those energies from the other planets that are, coming through and coming to us. So, it's just neat. It's like different ways of talking about very similar kind of concepts.
It is, and, if you're looking I tell people what I do is we look through what's called a telescope. We're looking up at the various degrees and what's going on with the planetary energies and how they're interacting with each other and what that means for our specific charts.
Mhm.
Whereas some people, they could see the entire universe in a microscope. So it's just, it depends on your lens that you're using to determine
Mhm.
what's going on. And I think that's why the divine comes down in so many different names and forms. You know,
Right.
he could come down as Jesus. He can come down as an enlightened Buddha. He can come down as Krishna. You know, it's just multiple ways of him showing us how to get the heck out of here.
Mhm. Right?
Get out of ourselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yay, good to see you, honey.
Hi, sorry.
Everything
a
is
little
okay.
emergency going on here, so we're
Mhm.
okay now. So
Was
sorry
it the
about that.
dryer or the washing machine? Or
No, it was a medical emergency with somebody,
oh my
so I
God.
had to speak to somebody, so it's okay
Okay.
now. Yeah,
I'm glad. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Eclipse
okay.
season and Mercury retrograde is not messing around.
No.
No, it's okay though. Everything is fine.
Good.
Good.
Everything's fine. But I did have to take it because it was
Mhm.
an emergency
Yes,
call.
of
So
course.
my apologies to all of you for jumping ship.
We have lives. We get it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Definitely.
takes care of the world. Like she's like the mom of the world, so she gets it.
Mhm.
So
So where
Yeah.
were we at? You've done the transits.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
talking about all sorts of
and
other things. So what are we
we
talking
talked
about?
about I shared about human design and the
Mhm.
Enneagram, and then Michelle shared with us about the different, types of astrology and about her class that's gonna be coming up, and
Yes, the class.
yeah, so
Exciting.
mhm.
Awesome. So do we want to pick a card? We
Yeah,
usually pick a card, or do you just want to pick a topic? We can just pick a topic if you want.
whatever works. I don't know if there's
yeah.
anybody who has a special request or anything, or if we wanna just go ahead with a card. I'm good with whatever we need to do.
What do you want to? Bless you. Bless you.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
It's spring. I've been
I
sneezing
realize
like
that
crazy.
It is spring. This is authentic podcasting, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's Beltane today. It's May Day.
It
So that's
is.
exciting.
It
We have
is.
all
So
of the beautiful flowers that are going up our noses and our sinuses. And
yeah, my eyes were itchy earlier, so I'm a little bit puffy today from that. But
Mhm.
yeah, I had a beautiful Beltane ceremony with my class, my Celtic Germanic High Priestess class. We did it yesterday because it was the weekend, so we just did it a little bit early so that they were prepared and could do their own today as well. So yeah, it was lovely.
Very
that's
cool.
awesome. Yeah, Jonathan and I got really excited because they were putting this giant pole up in the park, like this big pole. And we're like, oh, are they going to do a May Day pole? Like, we were like, oh my gosh. And so we come back the next day and it's like, pop up dog park. And we're like,
Oh dear. So I have
So,
on my altar for this. I have this was a speaking stick
oh, cool.
for circle, but it reminds me of the maypole. So I have that on my altar
Mhm.
for May Day. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And you've got white for Venus and the moon. You've got yellow for Jupiter. And then it looks like a little green string there.
Yep.
That's for Mercury. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in Saturn Mercury right now. So there you go.
So
Little
it's a good
nod
thing
there.
to have.
Yeah. My
Awesome.
Mercury retrogrades affect us a little more, Tanis, because when you're in Mercury Bhukti, which is the subdasha, it's just more, we're under his influence. So, but we're going to be moving out of that. We're going into Saturn Ketu this summer, so close to our birthdays.
Oh, good. Yeah, we're like 2 days apart or a day apart, right?
Day apart, yeah.
A day
I'm the
apart.
27th, you're the 28th, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mhm. So we're both Leos.
Yep.
Very cool.
That's Pushya Nakshatra and Veda. Good teachers. And we're kind of like the moms of the zodiac.
Yeah.
And this is the symbol for the nurturers.
Nice.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So that's who Tanis and I are. I don't know what Jen is yet. I haven't done her chart.
We were just talking about that. I think
We'll
she
have to get
said
that
we're
done
gonna
first.
she's gonna let us do that. I'm anxious to see who where her starseed lineage is.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, my own research into it, I'm sure, is nothing compared to the research and knowledge and understanding that you have for it. So
Do you have any Western planets in Leo? Leo or end of Cancer?
Give me a sec.
Okay, that's kind of a.
Do you want
I
to
can tell you where
Well, she's
I can tell you where my stuff is.
well, she's
I don't,
looking
you
that
don't have
up.
to. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Well, she's looking that up. Do you want to talk a little bit about our class that we did, which we're going to expand on?
Oh yeah, we did a whole
Yeah.
class on galactic starseeds. This was for D. Rose Hope. She was, a wonderful host. She had us give a little class for her students,
Mhm.
and she is also an Akashic Records reader. She's very good, and she's able to kind of tap into what your galactic being was in past lives. And so she told Tanis hers, and she told me mine, and then I went to our astrological charts, and I went, there they are. So, so basically, based on, I can find starseed markers in your chart based on the planetary alignments that I see of your birth chart. So,
And for those of you that don't know what star seeds are, so star seeds are beings that have beings. They could be us. They are souls that have either. So energy is not created nor destroyed. So our soul comes from somewhere. It's like a little bundle of energy. And that bundle of energy has to come from somewhere. So often star seeds have some galactic DNA in their soul DNA. So that's what that's about. We also will have past lives, which, of course, as we live lives, right, we have stuff that gets added to the DNA, just like we have ancestral stuff here. So the energy piece, we end up adding little pieces from some of our galactic lifetimes. And so that's what we're talking about. So those are star seeds. So there's a fair number of us down here on the earth at the moment. Myself, I'm a hybrid. So that just means where my soul DNA comes from is half galactic, half angelic, for whatever that means. So that's just the energy that makes up that piece. And so it was fascinating to look into that and have our charts done and figure that stuff out. I think there's a lot of Pleiadians down here at the moment. And I think you have Pleiadian too, right?
yes.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure Jen does too.
And that would be Taurus energy in the, or Vedic or Western, it'd be Taurus. So end of Taurus. Yeah. So I have a quote for you, Jen, because I know you love Yogananda. Did you want to hear his take? This is from Autobiography of a Yogi. And this is someone asked him, how do you describe Vedic astrology? And so Yogananda said, astrology is the study of man's response to planetary stimuli. The stars have no conscious benevolence or animosity. They merely send forth positive and negative radiations. Of themselves, these do not help or harm humanity, but offer a lawful channel for the outward operation of cause and effect equilibriums with which each man has set into motion in the past. A child is born on that day and at that hour when the celestial rays are in mathematical harmony with his individual karma. His horoscope is a challenging portrait, revealing his unalterable past and probable future results. But the natal chart can be rightly interpreted only by men of intuitive wisdom. These are few. So that's how he described it.
Wow,
I love
very
it.
cool.
I love him so much.
I love Yogananda. I'm
awesome.
with you on that.
Yeah.
So I want to say a quick hello to some of the people that are with us right now. So we've got Annie. Hey, Annie. And Jennifer. So Jennifer, we're actually not doing readings tonight. That's on Wednesday that we do the readings. So come and join Michelle and I, 7 o'clock Eastern or 4 o'clock Pacific. We'll be back on these channels again, and we can answer that question. And then Maruta, hello, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. And Maruta does have a question for us here, actually. So this is what we've been talking about. So how do you figure out your starseed type? I've seen someone do it by numerology. So it's quite a process that Michelle goes through in order to figure out your numbers. it's where it is in your actual astrological chart. So that's what she figures out. So it's quite a process. So she can help you with that if you want to make an appointment with her. She's great at astrology, so she'd be able to help you figure that out if you like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Awesome. And who else is on? We've got other people on too. Please say hello and let us know you're here. You know, if you have questions like Maruta about stuff, like please let us know. We're super thrilled to be able to come and help you all and, you know, navigate life. That's what we're here. Someone said last week, and it is so stuck with me, we're just all walking each other home.
I love
That's Ram
that.
Dass. Yeah. I love Ram Dass. Yeah, he's fabulous.
Yeah. I love that. Somebody, I think it was Shem that said it on here last week. And I was like, oh, it just stuck with me. I've been using it all week. So we're just all walking each other home. So come and join us. Come walk with us. So would you like me to show my chart? That might give a little bit of information.
Okay, sure.
Do you want to do that? Is that just a piece from our class?
Sure. Yeah, you can show a piece from our class, see what it looks like, and I can explain how I saw everything. It's just, yeah.
Hey, Gerald. He's lurking.
Oh, yay. I was on Gerald's channel this morning, like not on it. I was in the audience, and he and Amy, if you guys want to watch the replay, it's such a great conversation about Beltane, and yeah.
Awesome.
A lot of fun. So
that's great.
And Gerald's going to be on our show this week, guys. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's Wednesday.
Yay.
Yeah, it's going to be on the 3rd at 4:00 Pacific. So make sure to come join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. Gerald is a hoot.
We had a great time. He was on here a couple of weeks ago. It was
I saw that show. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it was great.
Fabulous. We love us some Gerald.
Oh yeah. The ambassador of happiness and joy.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm just going to skip forward to the other stuff
Okay.
Just so
I'm going to go grab my degrees if I have to like identify starseed stuff. Okay. Because I don't have the chart in front of me.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we should get into identifying other people's stuff. I just thought we would give them an example, and I'm happy to show mine so that we can just do it as an example.
Okay. I think I've got it on the slide, so I probably won't need to look up the.
You've got a question there, Tanis, if you want to pull it up about which service.
This would be for Michelle. So which service would it be for you for starseed reading?
Well, I don't have it on my site, but if you're a new client, I would just recommend your oh gosh, if you only want that and you don't want to know like what your Vedic chart looks like or anything like that, just go ahead and email me and we can work something out. info@Astrological Tarot. But if you just order a hour-and-a-half reading, I will incorporate starseed markings into your main chart. It's up to you how you want to do it. So you could get the 45-minute reading and I'll do your starseed stuff and just a few things that I see in your chart. But if you do the hour-and-a-half, I'll give you a full diagnostic and I'll include the galactic. It just depends on how much information you're looking for, Maruta.
I'm just putting up a little thingy here with your email.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go.
And Maruta was in our conversation this morning too. It's good to see you.
There we go.
Gerald.
Info.
There it is. That's me.
That's her. All right. So this is the Vedic one, correct? Do you want me to do the other one first?
Whatever one you want to pull up is fine. So this is your Western chart. It's a little small, but if you can see, she has, and basically what these are the hertz in which she vibrates with these particular star seeds. And like, this is the sound therapy that I would recommend to kind of help her tap in. Tanis she's an excellent channeler. That's given here by the Procyon energy that you see up top in blue. But this is the tropical calculation. This is the Western chart. And so she has got, if you look at her Venus, that's the sign that looks like a female at the bottom right.
Bottom right? This one?
Left, sorry. This left. There it is, that one. Her Venus is in the degrees that would make her a Procyon, and that's a light being. And a lot of channelers have that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you look at her ascendant, which is in Taurus. It looks like a little bull up there, like a little bull head over.
Over where?
There, you're right on top. Okay, oh, wait, other side. Sorry.
Over here?
There you are. There's the bull. Okay.
Okay.
See AC, that thing that says AC.
Oh,
That's your
AC
ascendant.
here.
Yeah, it's at 20. And yeah, it's right at the end of the Taurus there. So that's the Palladian.
Okay, so that's here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And if you look
Cool.
completely across the chart to Libra, it looks like a sun setting over water. It's like this. That's the Libra sign. It's right
This
across
one
from the
here.
ascendant. Yep, very good.
Okay.
So that is your
Astrology. I'm new.
That's okay. So there's like a cross there. It looks like a how do I say this? A Sinclair cross, like
This one
they
here?
used yeah, the Sinclair. That's Uranus. So it's right above that. It's in the gray color.
Okay.
That's called your vertex. That's your counter ascendant, and that's in within a degree of Mantis, which explains how you're able to communicate with them because you're right across the pond. You're looking right at each other.
Right.
So yeah, so that's how you're able to communicate with that particular star seed, and probably why they were attracted to you because of the Palladian influence.
Yep.
So
yeah, I had an etheric visit, not a physical, an etheric visit.
Yeah.
And then we have
Yeah, physical, your neighbors would have been calling the cops. So
exactly, it was etheric.
Dennis is growing things in a lab again. Okay.
It was an interesting visit. Yeah, they're like 8 feet tall, and they look like our praying mantis.
Oh yeah, large. That would scare a lot of people, but they're actually quite polite, and
they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the Vedic.
Yes, and let me know if you hear the mowers outside. Okay.
A little bit now.
Okay, I'm just gonna give me a second.
So this is the Vedic astrology chart, and you can see down here. She can explain it better, but you can see down here, it's Andromedan in my Vedic, and I have Lyran, and I have Arcturian here.
Yes, so your ascendant is Andromedan. That's the Aries up here at 4 degrees in Aries, and then you've got your Lyran is your north node. That's that RA next to the MA over there. There's Rahu. That's that Rahu Mars conjunction that we talk about
Over here.
Yeah. And then we have the, what's it called? Okay, so you have Jupiter. That's the JP at the bottom there, JP.
Yep, right
that's in Scorpio. That's Arcturian. And you and I have very similar Jupiters because mine is, I believe, at around 7 degrees and yours is at 3. So we're only about 4 degrees apart when it comes to our Jupiters. So yeah, we both kind of have that energy going on, the Arcturians. And so
yeah,
very cool.
So that's how she works it, guys.
So cool.
So it's complicated. She has to really like pull out all your chart stuff and figure that out. So
it took me about 2 months to identify the star points because this is new for me. I mean, you were telling me about star seeds and star seed markers, and then I read a bunch of stuff on it, and they're like, oh, if it's anything between 0 and 10 degrees, and I'm like, well, that has nothing to do with the fixed star constellation. And so I read more. So there is a lot of misinformation regarding it out there because people are still trying to figure this out. It's new. But what I ended up doing was I went to Ptolemy's Tetrabiblos, and I identified the exact degrees of each star group, and then I aligned that with each planet in the person's chart. So I'm a little more specific than other starseed indicators and markings because some people, they get it intuitively, and that's great. I prefer science and math in the sky. So that's the Arcturian in me.
Yeah.
So, yep. Science. Yeah. So, and Ragas, he understands that. So he's a very sciencey guy.
Awesome. So it's pretty, it's a cool thing to look at though, when you think about it. I mean, and it's certainly coming out. You do see the starseed markings, not just in the chart, but in personalities and stuff. And that was the other thing that we started to look at in the class and everything. So.
Oh, thanks, Maruda. You're so nice. It's a lot of years. I started when I was 9. So it's more of an obsession.
Well, and you have like a 3 or 4 year degree in Vedic sciences, right?
And I'm still taking classes just because I graduated from the Komilla Sutton Academy of Vedic Sciences. And I mean, she's in India. You get a master's, you get a PhD, you get advanced certifications. Science is real.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm taking personal panchanga with her right now, and it's really interesting. It's a lot of fun. So, and what's really great is it's with students that have been with her for decades. And so we can really bounce ideas back and forth. We're on WhatsApp going over transits. It's just a great little community. So,
That's
and my
awesome.
guru's amazing. I love her. So,
Mhm.
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
Very
Gerald said that, and the Bill Nye song got in my head.
Uh-oh.
Bill Nye the science guy. You know, when we were little, the teacher was bringing like the part with the giant TV on it. We're like, we're gonna watch Bill Nye today. That's what that reminded me of. I don't know why.
Science is real magic. Absolutely.
Yes.
Right?
100%.
Alchemical.
Definitely.
Alchemy. That's where it comes from.
Alchemy is just like that's what chemistry is. You know,
That's
it's just,
right.
we have more
Yep.
tools now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was all about putting the 4 elements together and energy. That's alchemy in
Mhm.
terms of magic. And so we do that in science to alchemize things in chemistry and
Mhm.
mix things together and sometimes make them go boom. So that's, you know, hopefully when you want to, not when you don't.
Yeah.
Yep.
When we do
So,
that
yeah.
in our own energy too, right? If you talk about like the elements and stuff like that. And,
Exactly.
you know, if we're too high on fire, we got to figure out how do we calm that down a little bit, right? And so
Have a shower.
That's part of Vedic astrology and Ayurveda too, because we all have our doshas. We have Pitta dosha, which would be too much fire. And so there are certain foods you can eat and practices that you can do to bring down that fire and balance yourself out a little bit. So
so there's so much of that idea of alchemy and everything we do.
You know, and the other term everybody uses is manifest. And you're just alchemizing the energies, right?
Mhm.
And I'm glad
do
that
that.
we're in a time of we're in a place and a time where we can do this without getting our heads chopped off or burned. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Because the 3 of us
So,
have done that already. Been there, done that. We don't need to do
Yeah.
it
Been
again.
there, lived that.
Yeah, I'm not prepared to do that again.
yeah.
No.
So the
So
3 of us guys, I think that's something we should talk about. So the 3 of us have been in many past lives together,
Mhm.
right? And do you want to talk about one with us, Jen? And then we've got a few. We have a bunch of them.
Oh,
Cool.
yeah. I don't even know where to start.
Well, we have our Lyran one.
Yeah.
Then Sirius B.
Mhm.
And then we were in Atlantis.
Yeah. That was such an interesting one. Because some of them are like, I remember one of them from Sirius coming here in that colonization time
Mhm.
after the war and everything else, and trying to rebuild and restructure and all of that. And so it's been such an interesting journey, kind of recognizing, what we think we know is not really what history is.
Yeah, I mean we've been told people's versions of what they remember.
history is determined by the victors.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
I mean, in America, we don't have a lot of a Native American history.
Right.
Even though they were here long before.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys may not know this, but Jen has quite an awesome memory of a lot of her past lives.
Ooh, I wonder where's the South Node in your chart, Jen? Do you have your chart out yet?
Hold on. I did have it up, and then we were talking about other stuff.
That's like the South Node is conjunct one of your planets or something, or he's in. Yeah, I really want to see where Ketu is.
So
And it's going to change in your Vedic, but yeah.
Yeah. It's the key, right? The KE?
KE, yeah.
Yeah, it's in my 11th house.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Doesn't that make you nervous when she does that?
No, that's
wow.
Okay,
I'm like,
but that's your house of prophets, and Ketu rejects prophets. And so, do you have trouble like self-promoting or things like that? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's me saying she has this amazing memory. We just had a whole conversation about that actually. Her and I, before we came on. So that's funny that that's the one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such an interesting thing, right? And this is kind of the conversation we were having earlier, because I know I'm not the only one. There's so many of us that remember or that have these, either it's a download or it's a recollection of, or it's something.
Mhm.
And as we're connected to that more intuitive knowing, and as we allow space for that, right, getting into the knowing, not knowing of what it is to be in this life, um, it's hard sometimes to reconcile this little being who's here right now having this lived experience and that greater being of what is attached to the whole of oneness that has been through millions of lives,
Yeah.
that's just kind of going, yeah, there's still more to share, there's still more to do, there's still more to whatever. And then there's like me going, I don't know why I know this stuff, or why I'm connected to this stuff, or how I even right, like, who am I to remember any of this, right? So it's just this kind of inner turmoil, and maybe that is my uh Q2 in my 11th house, I don't know, but is going, uh,
Well, K2 helps us remember our past lives. And so, in the 11th house, that's your tribe. And so that's probably why you can remember a lot of things about the people that you interacted with. And K2 also promotes spiritual growth, and he rejects the material. That's why I asked, is it hard for you to promote yourself? Because he's so spiritual. It's just like, no, it's all about the spiritual remedies. It's all about connecting. It's all about vibing up. And it's like, 'cause you got to eat though, honey. So,
Yeah.
You're speaking my language
yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
It's so true. Again, I say even to my partner, I'm like, if you didn't stop me from doing whatever I'm completely lost in,
Mhm.
I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't
Yeah.
do any of that, because I do. I get very, it's like I'm gonna have a meditation and it's like 2, 3, 4 hours later, and I'm like, I can't do this. I have to be in the world.
We have to
Yeah.
pull her back
Well, and your
sometimes.
opposite house, where Rahu would be, is your 5th house. And so that's children, that's, family, that's, I mean, that's the house of children. And like you are like the ultimate nurturer and caregiver. So that's kind of where your focus is. And sometimes you forget to take care of yourself because of that,
Yeah.
that energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, very true.
okay.
Thomas, I believe that is correct. Tarot your way.
Awesome.
I think
Welcome.
that's Thomas.
Very
Hey,
cool.
Thomas.
So,
Yeah. So Jen and I are actually working on a book. We have been
ooh,
for a few
fun.
years because we share a lot of past lives together, and we've had a lot of adventures. And so we thought we would put together a book at some point.
Mhm.
We started working on so I started doing past life stuff with Jen leading me. And then we realized that as I was doing it, she was getting her part and I was getting my part as we were going through. And so we're like,
Yeah.
well, we just need to
Okay.
do this together. We need to put this book together, all of
Yeah.
this, because it's fascinating.
It was such a neat experience because, I'm like, okay, let's do a past life regression. We sit down, we start it, and I'm seeing it clear as day with what she I'm like, I think there's something here.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. Can you deal with that? Can you help me?
Yeah. So we've been, cohorts in a lot of different lives, because we did let me see, we did the galactic ones, Egypt. After Atlantis, it was Egypt more than once, I think. And then we had an ancient Greece. And that one was kind of not a nice one for me. We've had numerous in like Celtic times. One particular medieval one where we were in the King Arthur's stuff. Yeah, so we've had numerous together.
We've been in a couple covens together.
Yeah, that was some of those were in the medieval in the UK in various time periods. So
What do you got?
Asia.
Asia.
Oh, we haven't had any info on that.
Maybe
Asia.
that's my connection to your guys. I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe.
maybe.
But I
Oh,
got Asia
Yeah.
for you guys. Oh, another one
oh,
just came
yeah.
up.
Oh, we just got
There's some serious
chills.
numbers
Oh, we're
on that.
helping each other with our phobias.
Ah,
Yeah.
Ooh.
okay.
That would explain why we're all in therapy of some kind or remedies or, you know.
Why we do that? Yeah, we're not
Because,
all in
yeah.
therapy, but we actually help people with it.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, Jen is in therapy and I, yeah.
Everybody should be in therapy
Yes.
just for the sake of having someone to talk to, says the therapist
Yeah.
who talks to other people all the time,
Yeah.
because we all should be talking to people about our stuff so that we don't hold it in.
But that's what community is about. That's what we all do for each other, right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that's the importance of community, is
Well,
that you
and
have somebody
Ketu
to
in the
call.
11th house, that's your community. And Ketu's the most spiritual. He's the South Node. He's your past lives, and he's trying to get you toward moksha. So it's a very spiritual community. What sign is he in there for you,
Who?
Jen?
Oh,
The KE.
Aquarius?
Aquarius?
That's the water one, right?
That's air, but it looks like water waves. It's an air sign, but it's the water
It's a
bearer.
it's a jar pouring water.
Yes, that's Aquarius. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So
And he has a little asterisk next to him. Is that normal?
a little asterisk?
Yeah.
I don't know what software you're looking at. It's possible that he might be linked to another planet, like have a very similar degree or something, depending on the software that you're. Yes, therapy is real,
Yeah.
Gerald.
it
I'm
is.
gonna have to have you run it for me,
Oh,
and then we'll know for
okay.
sure. 'Cause I think it maybe the asterisk is just there because Ra does too. So I think it's maybe just because it's the.
Oh, okay. So they're identifying the nodes. Yeah. What software are you using?
Oh,
I don't know.
Is it Parashara's
It's
Lights
something
or?
online.
Oh, okay.
so Maruda has some here. She must be into
North Node in
astrology.
Pisces, super spiritual. South Node in Virgo. Okay. So a little harder to stay organized. You're a very organized person in past lives, but spirits encourage you to be more spiritual this time. Let's see. You like boundaries and you're a perfectionist, but hey, you have healing abilities, not so bad. Use your powers to help those in need. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is that Jen Maruda?
No, that's not the same. None of us have our north or south nodes there. I think she was just making a point.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, Virgo
maybe
is
that's
perfectionistic. It's very but where Ketu is, where the south node is it's asking us to reject that part of ourselves and move forward into other areas of growth.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So lots of interesting stuff today,
Mm-hmm.
and we're coming up to our time. So let's let them know where we can be reached, what's happening. So please check out twillowlifestyle.ca. These two beautiful ladies are on there as teachers in the academy, as well as, you can reach them on their separate stuff as well. So Michelle, astrologicaltarot.com.
Yep.
Correct. And of course, all the social media. And Jen, you are at My Holistic Self, correct? As well as Twillow Lifestyle. So we are super happy. Oh, Maruda was asking if it was accurate.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, it depends on what nakshatra they're into and what houses they're in. I can make a much better prediction if I see how they're interacting with the other planets. So, but I can't do like a blanket observation without looking at the whole chart, because like here's an example. I have a Taurus ascendant. And so people are like, oh, okay, so you have, it's ruled by Venus. That explains this. God gave me some good looks. I'm very happy for those, but I'm also a little obsessed with them. That's Rahu being on the ascendant. So ever since I was little, it was like makeup and nail polish and like doing stuff with my hair and like doing all kinds of makeup and things like that. I was a girly girl and a tomboy, but that's the Rahu being on the ascendant. It makes me like, how do I say this? A little too obsessed with my appearance. It's something that I have to work on because it's kind of a low self-esteem thing. And then I have Ketu on the in my 7th house with Jupiter. Now, normally Ketu in the 7th house would indicate a lot of marital issues, but conjunct Jupiter is just a spiritual spouse. So I can't make like a blanket observation unless I see other conjunctions that are going on and how they're being aspect by the other planets. So they could be active or inactive. Also, I don't know what planet is in charge of your chart right now. That's called your Mahadasha Lord, and that's who's active. And then you have your Bhukti Lord, who's in the passenger side of the car going, turn there, go this way. So those are the two planets that are primarily in control. And then you have tertiary planets after that. And then then you have all the Vargas, and then you have your Navamsha chart, which is your Dharmic chart. And that's usually activated after the age of 36 or if you're married. So there's tons of stuff that goes into this. So I can't really make a blanket diagnosis without that's why I said, if you order the 1.5-hour reading, it'll give me a much better perspective of you as a soul. And then I can go from there. So I tell most new clients, don't do a 45-minute session. And normally my 1.5-hour sessions can go longer because,
There's
questions and things like that. Yeah. Because it's a first time kind of thing. So.
And the other option is to take her class so that we understand
Yes.
when she's talking too.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. You're going to get a lot of bang for your buck out of that class, because it's like 12 readings on top of, learning tons and tons about Vedic astrology and how it works. And I promise it's entertaining. I've got some great slides. Yeah, it'll be fun. There's lots of graphics and videos. And so you're not just going to be sitting there listening to me read off a slide. It's not boring, I promise. I have a master's in teaching. So I worked as a public school teacher for many years, and I did not want to go to school and be bored every day. So I try to make things interesting for you guys. Okay. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Okay.
Yes, and go to twillowlifestyle.ca and go to the classes, or you could go to astrologicaltarot.com, click on classes. It'll just take you straight to Tanis's page, and you can sign up. It's going to be fun. I promise.
So we're going to extend the early bird 2 days. Is that okay?
For our listeners, yeah, we can do that.
For our listeners? Okay. So let's do that. Just for the listeners, 2 days. Okay. Awesome. So we're going to sign off now. It's been an interesting show. We thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
And Michelle, final words?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Go to astrologicaltarot.com. You can read all about me. I do tons of updates on my YouTube, my Instagram, my Facebook. That's all Astrological Tarot. And if you just go to astrologicaltarot.com, I have all of my social links there. I'm now doing a lot of shorts that go into the astrological transits as well, so you can keep up to date with those. And if you want them all ahead of time, like all the transits ahead of time, if you have a membership with Twillow Lifestyle, you get the whole month ahead in detail. Okay. And it's $11 Canadian a month. It's nothing. So, and it's not just me that's on that membership page. Tanis has got a million resources there. So it's definitely a fantastic deal. So I highly recommend that you sign up for a membership at Twillow.
And we're getting more practitioners all the time and contributors to the
You're going to have to raise the
membership
price. Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's awesome. It's lots of fun. And it's a great way for us all to connect, right? So awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Jen, final words?
Yeah, just go see Tanis and Michelle on Wednesday and watch their show. And Gerald will be there, and that's going to be awesome.
Promote yourself.
And I'm excited to be with you guys again at some point. See, this is my whatever it is, right? And if you're interested in doing any of the human design stuff, looking into the Enneagram, if you're looking at wanting to do any of that kind of inner shadow work kind of stuff, you can reach me at myholisticself.com, myholisticselfcounseling.com, or you can find me on Twillow Lifestyle.
Awesome. Thank you. And I'm Tanis Coughlin from the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy. And thank you all for joining us today, and come back next week and see us, as well as on Wednesday. Come and see Gerald and Michelle and I do some readings. All right. Have an awesome night, everyone, and awesome week. We'll see you soon. Lots of love.